Back to the NFL now, here on First Things First, where the story this offseason has been the Bucs running it back, bringing back just about everybody. So why is Antonio Brown still out there? Well, the two sides reportedly still far apart on terms, which is just a nice word for money. We got former Pro Bowl linebacker LeVar Arrington joining the conversation. But, Nick, I want to start with you. You surprised an AB deal has yet to get done?
I'm not that surprised because I think that there is an element of finances that make this very important to Antonio Brown. And I was jumping in there because we had some issues with LeVar, but LeVar's back. I'd rather hear what he has to say because I know what I'm going to say. LeVar, are you surprised this deal hasn't gotten done?
No, I'm not surprised. The truth of the matter is that when you look at AB, although he's not in his prime anymore, his services are still worth more than $1 million base salary and 1.5 in incentives. I think when you get a deal done with AB last year, you're getting it done. It's out of desperation for both sides, right? It's out of desperation for Antonio Brown, and it's out of desperation for Tampa Bay. They needed help because of injuries. So he came in, he kept himself in the fold, was a positive contributor to this team. And Nick, I got to be honest with you. You proved that you deserve to have a bigger conversation at the table in terms of what your compensation would be, even if it's not one of those crazy numbers for one of the most elite in the game. It still should be higher than $1 million base salary.
Absolutely right. And I know, listen, Antonio Brown, went on with Maverick and LeBron a couple years ago, and he talked about how well he's done with his money and took shots at our guy Shannon Sharp, saying, I'll never run out of money. I'll never have to do anything else. Man, no matter how much money you've got in the bank, whether you've got a ton or a little, not only do you always want to make a lot of money, sometimes money is also just a sign of respect and standing. And amongst your colleagues, even if whether you need the money or not, there's a level of, okay, what type of receiver makes $15 million? What type of receiver makes $10 million? What type of receiver makes $5 million? Where do I see myself in that landscape? And which teams see me accordingly? To me, what is most interesting about this is nobody thinks that Antonio Brown has a $15 million a year offer or from any team out there, or a long-term multi-year offer from any team out there. I think most people believe he's going to be in the high single-digit millions for 1 or 2 years. What I'm interested by in this, Brandon, is that the Bucs haven't just done it. They have clearly made the decision. We're going to be in bad salary cap shape once Brady retires. We're not going to worry about that. We are just going to try to win as many championships as we can while we have Brady. We'll put the rest on the credit card. They could very easily do that with Antonio Brown. And the fact that now, maybe they will, but they've had a great offseason so far. They brought everyone back. But the fact that they haven't speaks to me, Brandon, maybe they don't look at him as a necessity at all and more of a luxury that they don't even need at this point.
Right, there you go. I agree with you. When you look at it, though, there's so much to this story. So they brought back all 22 starters. It's unheard of, okay? But they also so that means they brought back Leonard Fournette. But what did they do? They let Leonard Fournette go test the market. The market didn't, wasn't nice to Leonard Fournette, so he went back on a 1-year deal. So now he's back on a 1-year prove-it deal. That's the same thing with AB. You're right. It's a luxury. It's not a necessity. They let AB go test the market, and they want him for cheap. Now, AB, on the other hand, this is where I disagree with you, Nick, is when you talk about money and him being on that show, and LeVar, you understand this, you know this. Look, when you go by, and I'm only comfortable talking about his finances and his money because he highlights it on his social media all the time. And that's fine for a lot of people. But when you see the big house, when you see the Lamborghinis, when you see the jewelry, when you see the trips in jets, like a jet trip, like that's $30,000 to $60,000 depending on where you're going. So that money can run out fast. We hear about it all the time. Mike Tyson once had $400 million and then he went bankrupt. We hear it all the time. So AB may be in a situation where he has to go get the money. But yeah, I do believe that there is a sign of respect. There's a respect factor there where, you know, I'm Antonio Brown. I deserve more than $2 million, which he does. But at the end of the day, this is his business. This is his livelihood. And making $2 million at that lifestyle probably just doesn't work, Wilds.
Yeah, well, tell me about the private jet fuel cost. You're right, Brandon. Woo! That gas. Oh, 60 grand. It's like, gosh, darn it, I thought I was going to get out for 40 grand. But you're right, sometimes 60, depending on what you got. So thanks for letting us know, Brandon. Appreciate that. Hey, LeVar, here's what I think is interesting. How are the Bucs getting better? They brought back everybody, and everybody's a year older. So, they've got, now they have a full season together. Okay, well, so does everybody else. To me, AB is the one guy besides O.J. Howard who can really make a leap. He had 4 touchdowns and less than 500 yards. Like, this is a guy that could put up 1,500 yards. He could triple his production. Granted, he only played 8 games last year. But he's the one guy who the ceiling is much higher. You know what you're going to get from Mike Evans. You know what you're going to get from Chris Godwin. You know what you're going to get from Scotty Tuhati Miller. But it feels like AB with Tom Brady has a chance to really make the Bucs better, which they don't seem to prioritize. They seem to prioritize staying the same.
Oh, you just gave 3 names, and 2 of them are elite receivers, and Godwin and Mike Evans. So I tend to agree with the sentiments that he is a luxury player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but we still have to continue to look at what does the market say that Antonio Brown is at this point in his career. And I think that that's the most, that's the biggest, I guess, topic that Antonio Brown has to come to terms with is I believe that he's worth more than $1 million out of base salary. But I don't see if Tampa doesn't want to do that, and if another team doesn't want to do that, then how do you do it?
And let's not forget, Bruce Arians didn't really want Antonio Brown coming in last season, but it felt like Tom Brady convinced him. So maybe there's an element of, now that we've done it, let me have a little bit more of a say. All right, we got to take a